So I just got my DJI Neo. I've already taken it up for a couple flights, just following me around without a remote and with the regular DJI RC2 remote. But one of the things I'm most excited about is to fly it in manual mode with the FPV goggles from the Avata 3 and the FPV remote. And to me, it just seems like even though the camera quality isn't the greatest on this drone, it could be a really, really fun drone for flying around in tight spaces. And at only $200 and with pretty cheap care refresh, it's almost a little bit of a replaceable drone. And I've taken the prop covers off of it so that it will be a little bit lighter and a little bit more nimble. So yeah, let's put the goggles on and try it out. So I have it recording in the 4:3 aspect ratio, 4K 30 with EIS off. And for now, I'm going to leave the rest of the settings on auto. And we'll go ahead and take off here in normal mode. 3, 2, 1. Well, and here we go. Into manual mode it goes. And here we go. Definitely not as much power as an Avata, but not bad actually. Let's do a little loop-de-loop around this tree here. Ooh, it's actually quite nimble. And it does not drop very fast when you cut the motors. Doesn't seem like it actually drops the throttle to 0 when you put the throttle stick to 0. Doesn't. No, it doesn't, which is slightly annoying because I would like to be able to full dive with it, but apparently that is not possible. With the 30 frames per second, the feed is a bit choppy. It's not quite as smooth as when you have the Avata set to 60 frames per second, but again, it's not too bad. I wonder what my gimbal pitch is. 15 degrees, now it's 18, 20. Let's push it to 30, see how fast we can get it to go. And there we're going 28 miles an hour, not bad. At most of our throttle it takes. And let's try to dive this tree. Oh. Well, that wasn't good. So it doesn't seem to have enough power to flip itself over. Let's cut the motors. Does not appear to have turtle mode. So I'm gonna have to hike out there and actually pick up the drone. So when I tried to pull out of that dive, I just didn't have enough power to pull out of it, and the drone kind of went into its little losing power in one motor and flipped over and just fell into the grass. I'm used to having a lot more punch out power with the Avata to be able to recover from dives, etc. So we'll turn on ESC beeping. Maybe it's just so quiet I can't hear it. How do we find it now? Oh, maybe I'll just start the motors. Oh, there, I hear it. Apparently further out here than I thought. There is our drone. And of course it is fine. Minus a little bit of grass. And may I ask, what was that? That did not appear to be English. Right, well, I'm just going to wipe off the lens of the drone on my jacket, and I'm just going to take back off from right here. Take off. Flip it into manual mode. And here we go, right under that. Ooh. Oh, don't tell me we just crashed again. 15 seconds of flight. I guess I need to be a little less pushing the limits with this thing. I'm used to just being able to clip the tops of the grass with the Avata with absolutely no problems. Doesn't really even disturb its flight at all. This drone is obviously going to be a little bit more disturbed by hitting even smaller objects, but thankfully it is a tough little drone, and besides more grass in the props, it's fine. Definitely very maneuverable, as long as you don't try to hit any moves that are too crazy. Very nice, hitting some nice tight little gaps. Whew. Must have clipped some grass there. Let's see, pull up a little flip, very nice. Managed to recover from that well. Oh no, what's going on? It is absolutely losing it here. I'm not sure exactly what was going on there. But the gimbal seems to have gone absolutely crazy. But now we are back. And we seem to be flying just fine. Nice. This thing is really fun. May not be the greatest camera ever put on a drone, but there's no denying that it is extremely fun to fly. And I'm not too worried about crashing it, as you can see by the moves I'm doing here. Let's try again here for a little flip. And we managed to pull out of that. I'm actually really impressed that it didn't totally lose its bearings and crash there. Let's try cruising the tops of the trees a little bit. Oh! Hold up now. So I just switched the drone out of manual mode, hit the pause button, and apparently that was too much for it, and it just flew off and crashed into a tree for no reason at all. So we got to go and get it. So this thing definitely crashes a lot, more than I would like. I'm not exactly sure why that is, if it's just that the motors get overloaded and like one motor shuts down or something, or if there's some firmware bug that's causing that, or what. But to me, it definitely doesn't seem like how it should be acting. There's our little drone. Well, we've still got some more battery. This time we're gonna take off in manual mode. Now, our battery is a bit low, so I probably should go in and change the battery here. But it's still flying pretty nice, even at 30% battery. I'm going to actually decrease our gimbal tilt to around 14 degrees so that we can fly a little more slow and smooth here. Woo-hoo! Seems like really dramatic maneuvers really start to exhaust its capabilities. Like if you try to do a really sharp turn around a point, you have to really full throttle it, and even then sometimes it will crash. And we're getting down to 20%, so time to grab another battery. So we are back with battery 2, ready to take off and do a little bit more ripping. I can tell you that I certainly was not expecting that many crashes in the first flight. So we're gonna lock in exposure here and go back at it here. Let's see if we can do a barrel roll. Well, that didn't go quite according to plan. Yeah, it's definitely not very good for doing tricks. The motors do not seem to like it. Let's try cutting the power. Oh yeah. Not recommended, folks. You can get it. Whoa, whoa, what was that actually? Okay, glad I did not crash. So yeah, definitely not anywhere close to as powerful as Nevada, which I knew that would be the case, but I didn't realize just how much it would be attempting to just crash. Let's go over here right around our Starlink dish and let's check out the edge of the woods. Go right up this tree. Oh, oh. Hey, we survived that little bump. Right over here through the smoke. Very fun. I actually quite like ripping around with this thing, even though it's not quite as powerful. For a little close-in ripping and hitting some tighter gaps. It's very, very responsive, and I very much appreciate that. Let's see if we can get it to do a nice little circle around us here. We're going to go right through here. If we could fly into the greenhouse there. Turn our gimbal pitch down a little bit so we can fly a bit slower. I'm going to rotate around. Don't even remember, is there net on this end? Might be wires here. No, let's see, oh yeah, there are. We'll go right over. And we're now in here. And let's see if we can make it out. Yeah, we made it out. Woo! This drone is actually super good at getting in small spaces. Very responsive. Almost too responsive at times, and then not responsive enough at others, but hey. This was not made first as an FPV drone, so I'll take it. This is some stuff I probably wouldn't quite do with my Avata because I'm not quite confident enough. I don't want to destroy it, but this drone, I feel like it's so light. There's not a whole lot of damage that I can do, so I'm willing to take a few more risks with it. I've got to say, if you want to learn manual FPV, this is not a bad drone to learn on. If you want to stay in the DJI easy FPV ecosystem, like I prefer to do. Let's try a dive. Let's try to pull out. There, if you pull out nice and slow, you can make it work. Just got to be a bit more mindful of how high you are above the ground and how much of extreme movement you give it when you are doing your moves. Pretty impressive. I don't want to go too far away because I don't want to have to hike out and grab it again. Very fun. I just wish that DJI would let us shoot in some kind of flat picture profile, even if it wasn't 10-bit. That would be amazing, because this is super, super contrasty, and I think that you could get a little bit better quality out of the camera if you were just allowed to shoot in a flat profile. Oh, and I wasn't recording. That was sad. What in the world is going on? The gimbal, it did it again. So same thing happened a minute ago. It just got confused. The gimbal pointed straight down, and I obviously got confused as well, and the drone crashed. So yeah, definitely some major quirks to this system. I did not expect there to be this many crashes. Of course, some of them were from my own error, but at least 3 of them so far have been from the drone doing very strange things. That probably could be fixed with firmware, hopefully. DJI, please fix that with firmware. So let's go ahead and fly the rest of this battery. Oh, we've only got about 30%. Actually try to take off in manual mode. Hopefully we don't get my fingers cut. So I'm actually gonna try toss starting this drone. Double tap to start the motors. Gonna start recording. And I'm just going to toss it. And oh, hey, that worked pretty well. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. I'm going to very quickly take this up a little bit higher to, a couple hundred feet. And then I am going to just simply hit 400 feet, and it stopped, and switch back into manual mode. There we go, switch into manual mode, and we're just going to dive it right down. Ooh, and it's dropping very quickly. Pretty quick recovery though, so can't complain. Nice, 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 nice. And we are just going to bring it right in here. Nice and close, and cut the motors. Woo! So yeah, thoughts after a couple flights in manual mode. I love it. It's obviously not an Avata 2, but it is super, super fun to rip around with. And I'm not banking on getting great quality footage out of this, just something to have a lot of fun with and maybe be able to fly in smaller spaces or in more high-risk environments than I would fly my Avata in. If you have an Avata 2 and like to rip around with it, just get this thing, just get it, you won't regret it. It's 200 bucks, it's a lot of fun, and pretty sturdy, and I can't wait to shoot a whole bunch more with it. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe for more videos like this, and if you want to learn how to get the most cinematic shots with your drone, I have a completely free 45-minute training where I share my top 10 secrets to getting cinematic shots with any drone, and link to that is in the description as well.